So we were just reviewing the muscles of inspiration and expiration. So we've got our diaphragm here that, remember, when it's relaxed is going to be pushed up by all the organs. When it's contracted is going to pull down to create a bigger volume, which is going to lower the pressure inside the chest, which is going to suck air in. The same with these external intercostal muscles that are on the outside of the spaces between the intercostal spaces, between the ribs. So when they contract, they pull it out, and that creates more space. That's primary inspiration. In terms of muscles of primary expiration, there aren't any, because all you have to do is stop contracting these, and it'll start to put some pressure on your chest as it closes, and stop contracting this and let your abdominal organs, all your digestive tract, push it up, right? It's just naturally going to get pushed back up, and that's going to compress your lungs, which is increasing pressure and pushing air out. Yeah.
Do you have the ability to press it down anymore?
Mm-hmm.
You do? You can?
Yeah, and that's when we get to forced expiration, right? This is just like if I'm not thinking about it and I'm asleep and breathing.
Okay, so this is just normal breathing.
Right. So when you're asleep and you're not thinking about your breathing at all, your brain only has to work on your breathing to turn it on to take a breath. And then it gets a little break in between. It doesn't have to do anything to breathe out, just to breathe in, right? So then if we get to forced inspiration, so big on purpose intense breath, right? Now we're using your pectoral muscles, which are like on the front of your chest, to help pull up your sternum. We're using the sternocleidomastoid muscle, the SCM, which, remember, connects from your mastoid, so like here, down to your sternum, down to your, or to your sternum down here, sorry, to your sternum and to your clavicle. It's a nice big triangle, which is why if you take a big deep sucking breath, you can like see and feel a muscle pop up right here. That's that SCM, sternocleidomastoid. You're also using your scalene muscles. I think I mentioned your pecs. All of that is about pulling like the front of your chest. No, that's expiration. All of that is about pulling your chest even bigger, even faster, even wider. Get your sternum up, get your ribs out. Okay. And then now if I want to force my breathing out, force my expiration, that's when I'm going to use my internal intercostals. Remember, muscles can't push, they can only pull. So if I'm pulling from the inside of those spaces between my ribs, I'm going to make my cavity smaller. Right? So as I pull on the inside of my ribs, I pull everything in. I can also use my abdominal muscles to kind of bear down and like push more air out more forcefully. This is one of the reasons when you're having a baby or you're constipated, really anything that needs you to bear down, they tell you not to close off your airway. Like hold your breath and kind of push down for a second.
A little pressure in here.
Yeah, you can feel some pressure in your head, right? You can feel some pressure in your chest and your abdomen. The reason they tell you, like especially women who are in labor, tell you to keep breathing, part of it is because you need more oxygen coming and going to give to the baby. Like you don't want to hold your breath because you don't want the baby to suffer and not get oxygen, right? But part of it also is that as you're like just naturally, instinctively, it feels right to us to hold our breath because you can increase the pressure. That's the whole point, right? Increase the pressure to push a baby out. But when you're doing that, you're also increasing your blood pressure, which in some situations could lead to things like a stroke. Same with bowel movements. You don't want to like really bear down and hold your breath at the same time. Vagus, right. There's that, yeah, there's that, and just the reason you feel that pressure in your temple when you do that is because you've increased your blood pressure. In a young, healthy person, that's not really a problem, but as you get older and as your blood vessels aren't quite as strong as they used to be, that can get you rarely into trouble. So just as a habit, we tell people not to hold your breath while you're bearing down.
Yeah, when I was a grumpy little boy, I was super stressed about something and I was passed out.
Really?
What it was.
Any questions on that? Okay. So in terms of the intercostals, just remember which side, inside or outside of the ribs, which direction are you trying to go? Are you trying to bring your ribs in to force air out? Then you must be talking about internal intercostals. Are you trying to pull your ribs out to pull air in? Then that must be external intercostals, right? I think that's it on that. So, okay. In terms of homework, I'm going to have you guys, you're obviously studying for the test. Yeah, so there's, Blake, I'm going to include a handout as well. So that's a very short assignment. It shouldn't take you more than about 15, 20 minutes maybe. So do that, do your concept map, study for your test, and I'm going to give you a portion of the next chapter to read, but not the whole thing. Let me see how much. Can you guys believe we're like in the second to last module next week?
Well, what are they about?
Kidneys.
And then what's the last one about?
Reproductive tract.
Oh, yeah. We haven't covered that yet.
We have not. It's at the very end. So let me have you read.
Oh, did we do a good job on saying anus?
You guys did.
Oh, okay.
I'm so proud of you
I
getting
said,
comfortable with
did we do a good
anus.
job on saying anus? She was saying a class was having a hard time saying anus.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you read up through 502, and I'll include that in the email. Okay. Okay, good class.